The framework presented by Marco Dane centers on a specific cognitive state he labels true enlightenment. Accessing this state requires a counterintuitive psychological posture. For Dane, profound understanding is triggered by entering a condition of complete, active unknowing. To analyze these mechanics, we are treating this text as a formal epistemological system, a map for how the mind acquires and processes higher knowledge. This is the fruitful soul. It is a dynamic state of being where consciousness functions as a living ecosystem, not a static repository. By reverse engineering this model, we can isolate the functional mechanisms that drive cognitive expansion. This reveals a psychological architecture where deliberate ignorance serves as the primary structural asset. Most human systems prioritize hoarding answers. This serves as a defense mechanism against the inherent complexity of existence. Filling the mind with rigid, absolute facts creates a static vessel. This internal density eventually rejects new, transformative inputs, halting growth. Dane's alternative is to dissolve these blocks to cultivate a deliberate cognitive void. This void operates as the necessary processing node for converting raw data into a higher state of awareness. The process follows three distinct phases: navigating the complexities, occupying the void, and activating the catalyst. Transitioning between these phases requires the systematic dismantling of materialistic certainty. In this model, ignorance is repurposed as a high-potential resource for building the fruitful soul. Phase 1 involves navigating the complexities of existence through rational definition. As the seeker goes deeper, these rational answers inevitably elude the mind, proving insufficient for the scale of reality. This creates a cognitive cap. Existing definitions prevent the seeker from perceiving information that sits outside their current framework. In this illustration, the solid line of the skull represents the answers. It acts as a restrictive boundary, an intellectual prison. Friction occurs when the vast expanse of existence encounters these rigid internal limits. Dane views the failure of these rational answers as a productive, necessary spiritual milestone. This friction finally shatters the boundary, moving the mind from the realm of the answers into the unknown. Spiritual expansion begins only when the structure of assumed knowledge is compromised. Phase 2 is the transition into uncertainty. While uncertainty is often viewed as a deficit, Dane classifies it as a functional environment. This realm operates as an expansive, high-energy field, a space of pure potential. Within this environment, the soul generates internal resistance, required to develop true courage. Courage in this framework is the ability to operate effectively within an undefined space. Knowing nothing shifts the seeker's status from a passive observer to an active explorer. Uncertainty provides the specific parameters needed to synthesize true understanding. Phase 3 triggers the active protocols of the fruitful soul: explore, question, and expand. Protocol 1, explore, is the act of navigating the unknown without previous assumptions. Protocol 2, question, is the intensive inquiry that activates once rigid answers are abandoned. Protocol 3, expand, is the resulting growth that encompasses the vast expanse of existence. These three protocols are logically incompatible with the state of certainty. This chart shows the mathematical logic of the unknowing catalyst. Certainty and expansion function as inverse variables. Reaching a state of knowing nothing provides the essential fertilizer for the blooming mind. This shift moves the individual from the monotony of the mundane into the extraordinary realm of the spirit. Enlightenment is the inevitable output of a mind that has systematically removed its own internal limits. This is an illustration showing the individual mind integrated with the celestial patterns of the universal body. This wavy texture represents the unknowing seeker resonating with the atomic geometry of the universe. In this framework, the state of absolute ignorance is the requirement for accessing absolute truth. The fruitful soul represents the transition of the mind from a static repository into an active, expanding engine. Personal certainties are the only structural barriers preventing this expansion. By integrating uncertainty into our psychological architecture, the mind shifts from a fixed state of knowing into a continuous process of universal expansion.